Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we are doing chicken piccata and parmesan roasted potatoes. We're going to start with our taters here. We got some red skin potatoes and we are just going to cut them in half this way, then kind of roll it over once, cut it in half again, and then give it a little turn. We have effectively quartered our potato, and I'll show it to you again. So we just cut it in half, kind of keeping it pinched together, kind of roll it over, cut it one more time, and then you can kind of just cut it in half that way. And we have quartered potatoes. And if you're not comfortable doing that, you can just cut it in half, and then just, take a single half, cut that in half lengthways, and then cut it in half widthways, and add it to your bowl. I went ahead and cut up some to save, before the video, to save some time. So I have my potatoes here. And then I'm going to add my 4th cup of Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to add my seasoning blend here. It's a salt, pepper, or seasoning salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, parsley, thyme, and a little oregano. Add just a little bit there. Then I got some melted butter from the Chef Mike's the microwave. And I'm just going to toss this all together. If you don't want to use your hands, you can use a spatula or wooden spoon. I just happen to have gloves on, so it makes things a little easier. So I'm getting everything tossed up. And I went ahead and preheated my oven to 425 and lined my baking sheet with foil. So I got this here. Just going to pour the potatoes on, kind of spread them out to a single layer, and then take all that delicious goodness right there that's still left in the bowl. Make sure you pour that all over everything. Give it a little lick or a little wipe. Get rid of my bowl. Just going to take our potatoes, kind of toss them a little bit in that butter that was dripped from the pan, or from the bowl onto the pan. Spread it all out to a single layer. That's looking great. I'm going to take my gloves off now because they're all buttery. And we're going to go ahead and throw these guys in the oven. I cheated a little bit and did some beforehand, so that way we can see a finished product just in case they weren't done whenever we were done doing the chicken. That way you don't have to wait to see. They look all bubbly, delicious, and good. I can't wait to eat these for dinner tonight. Just gonna leave those there. We'll get another look at those in just a second. So I'm gonna move these up to the upper rack just because I'm weird and like stuff on the upper rack. And I'm going to grab another glove because I'm going to use some raw chicken here in a second. Those look so good. I can't wait to eat them. Oh, the smell coming off them is great. So we're going to get our breading ready for our chicken. I got flour, my garlic powder, my salt, and my pepper here. I need my 4th cup of Parmesan cheese. So it's going to take a little Parmesan here, add that there. We don't need this giant boulder of cheese. I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit. You can do this with a fork. Before I have my glove on, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And that is nice and mixed up. Got that ready to go. We need to add a little bit of parsley to that. So I'm just going to take my parsley here. And I like chopping into the stems. So instead of sitting there and trying to pluck, every parsley leaf off, I just cut to into the stems some. You can kind of trim the sides up, kind of like give them a haircut. And that way we can save our bunch for another day, and then take this a little bit here and just chop it up a little bit. I'm doing what some people call a rock and chop, where I keep this hand on the tip of the blade, keeping it flat, not curling it, pinching it, just kind of keeping it flat. And just kind of using that as a fulcrum for my knife to keep everything, nice and moving. Kind of pushing it all together. Oh, I used fulcrum right. It's a big word I'm not used to using. So we're just getting our parsley all chopped up. And we're just going to add this to add half of it to our flour mixture, and we'll save the other half for later to garnish with. So we get that in there. We're just going to mix that all up as well. You can chop it up smaller, you can leave it bigger. It's kind of up to you. So that's ready to go. We got our liquid chicken here. It's going to poke my yolks. Let's kind of mix that up a little bit. This is going to be kind of our binder for our breading that we're going to do. So that's all ready to go. Now we got our chicken. We are going to butterfly this. So by butterfly I mean we're going to open it up like a book. So I like moving my cutting board to the edge of the table, putting my chicken breast close to the edge as I possibly can. So that way this hand here has clearance to stay level and do everything. So I'm going to kind of take this hand, keep it flat, and then we're just going to keep this level and cut into it like a book. Doing this left-handed is very hard when you're right-handed. Don't know why I put the glove on this hand, but so we're just kind of opening this up like a book. So if we open it, it's like a book. We can kind of come down here, cut the end of it. If you cut a hole in it, it's okay. You're going to eat the evidence, so don't worry if we screw up. And then when we get kind of to the last little bit, you can just kind of cut right through it. And now I'm gonna cut a little bit of fat off. That worked out great. So we got 2 halves of a chicken. Got a little bit of parsley on there's okay, because we already got parsley in the breading. So we're going to take the second chicken breast, do the exact same thing, cut it in half so it opens up like a book. You can take long strokes. So there we go. You can kind of press it down. And if you don't want to do that because you're too scared you're going to cut yourself, cover it in some plastic wrap and just pound it out with a meat mallet or the back of a saute pan to where it's flattened out. And that way you have kind of a nice flat even chicken breast. That's why we did that. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my stove real quick, so that way it can be heated up and ready to go. Of course, the automatic light doesn't work. So, boom, we got fire. I'm on medium-high heat. I got my oil in the pan already, so we're good to go there. So now for our chicken, we are going to get everything situated here. This is kind of the fun and the messy part. I know I dropped the plate. I'll grab that in a second. So I'm going to take a chicken breast, put it right into the flour, flipping it, making sure we get it all nice and covered. Then we're going to take our eggs, toss it in our eggs, and then right back to the flour. If we were doing a whole lot of these, I'd say, keep this hand clean, or keep this hand for just the dry stuff. Do this hand for just the egg yolks or the eggs, so we don't kind of get these weird like battered hands, but we're only doing 2 chicken breasts, so it's not going to be too bad. You can still do that if you want, but it's not quite necessary. So let's go ahead and do up my chicken, getting it all nice and coated, getting it into the egg wash. And if you don't like eggs, you can easily do milk for this part, or buttermilk. I wouldn't do water because you don't really get any flavor from it, and it doesn't really help stuff stick very well. The eggs or the milk or buttermilk would be a nice alternative because it actually adds a little flavor and helps stuff stick. So we're just pressing that all into our chicken, putting it into our egg wash here. Back into our flour mixture. I can't wait to have this for dinner. I hope you guys are excited too. That guy's ready to go. Then we got one left here. And if you have leftover breading like I do, don't save it because we just had raw chicken in there. Unless you just really like this recipe and you're going to make it again tomorrow, I would throw it away because not only is there raw chicken in there, but the parsley will kind of start wilting and going bad and not being very good. So don't save the breading unless you're literally going to make it tomorrow. So we got this guy all egg washed into the breading we go. And that guy's all set. I'm going to check the heat of my pan a little bit and kind of sprinkle it. You can kind of see the flour bubbling there. That means we're ready to go. So I'm just going to kind of shimmy my oil around a little bit. We're going to add 2 pieces of chicken. When you add it, kind of lay it in going away from you, so if there's anything that kind of splatters up when you drop that last little bit in there, it splatters away from you. Let's go and take another piece here and add that in. And I'm going to do 2 pieces so I don't overcrowd my pan like I did making the scampi. So I'm going to take my glove off. Just let these guys kind of do their thing. And now we need to chop a little bit of garlic. I know you're going to say I just used this knife to cut chicken with. We're going to cook the garlic, so it's okay. I'm just going to just kind of start slicing the garlic up. You could smash the garlic too with the knife. I'm just going to kind of slice it this time, just for a little something different. And we got time because we're letting that chicken cook for about 3 to 5 minutes on that first side before we flip it and cook it on the other side. So just chopping the garlic up. We're going to add this once we are done cooking the chicken, so that way it will help, it'll get nice and yummy in our sauce. Or you can always add it when you flip the last bit of chicken. We want it to cook in 2 batches, so you don't want to add the chicken or add the garlic at the end of the first batch of chicken, because then it'll definitely burn. So add it when you flip these guys and are going to cook them, so this doesn't just burn up and get all nasty and bitter. So our chicken's starting to look a little good. Just gonna kind of give it a little peek. Starting to get a little browning on there. That's great. That's what you want. This will kind of give it a nice little crunchy texture. Got this nice sauce we're going to make. Again, these potatoes look phenomenal. I can't wait to eat them. Wish you could smell them. You got cheese is melted on there. Then you got butter, because butter makes everything better. And I'm going to kind of toss these in that sauce, or the leftover butter in the pan, so it kind of gets distributed across everything again, because Why let butter go to waste? So we're patiently waiting for our chicken to cook. It's been about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so they're about ready to flip. So you can see a little bit of color on there. We'd like a little bit more if you can wait. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this guy back over and just let it sit. This is the hard part of cooking, is waiting. Yeah, this is when you can chop your garlic, get your chicken broth ready, so that way when it's time to add the broth to the pan, it's ready to go. Find a plate to eat on, like I forgot to do. We're going to have to add a lemon, so we're going to go ahead and cut that in half. This is, again, saving it for later to use for our sauce, but we're just going to go ahead and have it ready. We're going to wander down the hallway here and grab a plate, because someone forgot to grab it earlier. We'll go with a nice round plate today as opposed to a square one. We can hear the chicken, it's sounding great. So now let's give these guys a flip. Oh yeah, we got some nice color on them now. Now we just gotta wait another 3 to 5 minutes and they'll be ready to go. I want to add just a splash more oil so I can start cooking my garlic. The breading will soak up a little bit of oil, so just adding a tad more for garlic won't be that bad. Got garlic all ready to go. Give me 1 second and I'll show you that cooking away. So kind of, oh god, the smell of sauteing garlic is phenomenal. So we're just letting that do its thing. We got our chicken cooking. Some recipes call for capers. When I went to the store to get everything, I couldn't find capers, so I didn't add them to this. If you want capers, just do about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of capers, and just kind of smash them and chop them with the garlic, and it'll be great. They add a nice underlying saltiness to stuff that you just kind of get. Some people love them, some people hate them. But garlic's cooking nicely. Our chicken's looking good. Yeah, that's looking great. That's looking good too. Man, I can't wait to eat these things. So they're looking good. They're feeling good. I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Just going to put them over here with my potatoes for now. And we're going to start building our pan sauce. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to take my cup of chicken stock, add it to the pan. That's a little chunk of breading there. Let's kind of get rid of that. And I always want to bring this up to a simmer and let it reduce for just a couple minutes. This is what takes so long to make your dinner in restaurants, is they're usually making pan sauces to order. So we gotta let the wine and the stock come up to simmer, reduce it, and then do everything. So I'm going to add a little bit of citrus, or add my lemon. I want to fish out the seeds. There's one. So I'm going to add my lemon. If you can't get your lemon to squeeze, you can take a fork and kind of stick it in there, and that will help break everything up. You can also microwave your citrus before you squeeze it, and that will help loosen it up too. Get out of there. All right. So we're just going to add our lemon to the pan. If you have white wine at home, a half to a fourth cup of white wine in this would be great. Use wine that you prefer to drink. Don't just use any white wine. I can't give you white wine just because we don't have a license for that, really. So, I'm not trying to break any laws. There is... Alright, I got my lemon seeds out. Yeah. Nope, there's one more. Yep. Yeah, they keep multiplying. Alright, so I think our lemon seeds are out. If you have one of those nice little citrus squeezers, you can use that. I keep forgetting to buy one at the store when I go shopping. So, I don't have one here. Then I usually have to use a lot of citrus. I just buy the bottle most times. So our sauce is starting to bubble. We just want to reduce it a little bit. That's the hard part of cooking is, waiting it to reduce. The wider pan you have or bigger pan you have, the quicker it will reduce because it's a bigger surface area that it can spread out to boil under. Whereas if you had a, smaller, taller pot, it'll take longer for it to reduce. So just kind of waiting. And when we add our other 2 tablespoons of butter, try to find a plastic whisk to do it with, so that way you're not scraping the bottom of your pan. Unless you have a stainless steel pan, then it doesn't matter too much. But we got non-stick, so I'm trying to save it and use a plastic whisk. If you can't find them, talk to us. We have these nice Huntington's kitchen whisks that actually collapse for easier storage. They're pretty nifty, and they're heat proof, so it's great. Talk to us, and I can get you one. We got them as giveaways before the world ended with the pandemic. So we're going to take our butter here. We want to keep the cold butter. I'm just going to whisk it into the sauce. This is going to help thicken it and give it a little bit of body. I'll hold you steady so you don't shake around. It also helps if you cut up your butter into a couple smaller pieces. I should have thought that before I did it. I'm sorry, but we can still whisk it around. You can kind of see the butter kind of starting to go around the edges. This is what the French call a montebourg. I'm horrible at French. They're basically mounting with butter. I probably pronounced that wrong because I've been in school for a while and called it that. But we're basically mounting with butter, finishing with butter. We're going to go ahead and turn off the heat as well. So that way we can whisk it in a little bit better. You can already see it's starting to change the color of the sauce. It's starting to give it a little cloudiness. That's good. Now you can let this reduce a little bit more and it'd be great. But I like sauce, so we're just going to kind of let this go as is. Get that butter all nice and whisked in. I can't wait to eat this. I'm going to cook the rest of that chicken in a little bit. So I'm going to take my plate here, take a piece of chicken, toss these guys in that butter. It smells so good. And of course I forgot to grab a spoon to ladle the sauce with, so we are going to go grab a spoon. Got a big spoon here so I can get a lot of sauce. Take the spoon, get the sauce. I'm gonna lay it right over the top of that chicken. Get another one. That's going to be so good. It's going to go great with those potatoes too. I hope you guys like it and enjoy as much as I do. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.